There you are. Welcome back to the channel. This is the most disturbing videos on the internet today. Let's dive in.
Under the waves is where we belong.
This is the type of ancient acoustic sound therapy we used to publicly have in our ancient cities. Like this is the old town in Budva, which is about 2,000 years old. The size of this bell, it's giant. See how ginormous this is? Imagine the acoustics. And now it's not working. It's on the ground, as many others around the world, just grounded, not sounding. But people used to have on a daily basis this beautiful sound bath, harmonizing their vibrations with the high vibration of this specially made colacle or the bell. And there was an ancient technology of how to make them to a specific pitch that was very healing for everyone. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think it becomes very obvious now that all these bells are now grounded, and I'm not the first one to talk about it. It's just another evidence of it. One day, New Earth and all the bells, my friends, will be sounding again. I pray for that day. Slavic name for this bell is Zlatno Zvono, which translates as golden bell, the mother of all voices. But maybe now it's a time where we access that inner sound, the golden sound, the mother of all voices within ourselves. It's the sound of our heart. Now all these ancient towns are turned into touristic attraction with lots of vibrant life, restaurants, and it's part of the modern metropolitan. But it's so magical to walk around and just touch the rocks of the past, which hold so much memory. Budva sits right on the sea with local beaches and a crystal clear Adriatic Sea water. Summertime is packed with tourists all over the world, but now in May it's a slow season, so you can enjoy more space. But the main thing here in Montenegro is no chemtrails. The air is so pure that I can breathe without getting sick, unlike Florida. A little bit of bells, small bells are still left, and sometimes they play them, and it's just so beautiful.
Wow, she said no trails like in Florida. Oh my goodness, those skies do look pretty clear. Where is this, Russia?
This is the type of ancient...
Russia has so many ancient gems. You know, if you look on the map, allegedly where Tartery was, that was literally where Russia is. So that just tells you how many amazing structures they probably still have and we don't hear too much about. They're probably hiding it from us, to be honest.
Air Marshal Sir Peter Horsley's encounter with an extraterrestrial mind-reading humanoid in 1954.
Now, we've had numerous accounts throughout the book, Alien Base, where people have come forward and claimed to have spoken and interacted, if you will, with extraterrestrials, but none more fantastic, I suppose, than a certain gentleman who was a former equerry to the Queen.
Yeah, right.
Peter Horsley.
Air Marshal Sir Peter Horsley, yes. I mean, this is an incredible story, but, you know, someone like that who is so credible, I interviewed him. He must have been very highly vetted to get the job of equerry to the Queen and Prince Philip. He's flown 90 different types of aircraft, from the Spitfire to the Vulcan bomber, Deputy Chief of Strike Command, for heaven's sakes. You can't get much higher than that. And here's a man who insists that he met an apparently extraterrestrial human being with whom he was, who was able to read his mind. He didn't have to formulate his questions with his voice. The questions were answered for him. How can we discount dismiss stories like that. We can dismiss Adamski and Menger if you like, but I don't think we can dismiss someone like him.
When obvious question surfaces, he's talking about extraordinary events from the mid-50s. It's taken him the best part of 45 years to come forward, albeit through his autobiography, to recount these details. What explanation did he give you when you personally interviewed the man?
Well, first of all, he didn't give me an explanation, and I didn't ask him. I said to him, it's very brave of you to come out with this story, Sir Peter, and he said, it's not brave, I simply recount what happened. But I am assuming, I didn't feel the need to answer the question, I am assuming that there's no way he could have come out with that story publicly when he was serving, at Buckingham Palace. There's no way he could have come out with such a story while acting as Deputy Chief of Strike Command or flying Vulcan bombers, for heaven's sakes. So it's only in his retirement that he's felt the freedom to come forward.
But even so, I mean, assuming, for instance, that the man retired at 60 or indeed 65, we're still talking about 15 to 20 years for him to impart that information. Well, doesn't that strike you as odd? Well,
to impart it publicly, it doesn't strike me as odd, no. I've come across many other people. Even the contactee whom I refer to as Joelle, whom I've known since 1952, didn't even want me to write up her story after her death, and she died a few years ago. So in a certain sense, I'm acting against her last wishes.
I was working in the palace at the time, and we all discussed it. Prince Philip, General Browning, we all discussed it. Sometimes jokingly, sometimes quite seriously. And I think Prince Philip was very open-minded about the whole subject, and I suggested one day that I should do a little research into it. He was absolutely fine. He said, don't bring any adverse publicity on the palace, obviously. Don't become a crank about it. Go ahead, inquire into it.
I can't be the only one that would literally just think of something in my mind, and all of a sudden what I was thinking about, or something very, very close, or a solution to what I was thinking about, pops up.
Marine archaeologists have discovered what appears to be the remains of an ancient underwater city deep in the Indian Ocean. Submerged structures, stone pathways, and carved pillars suggest a once thriving civilization lost to time. While experts remain cautious, the scale of the ruins has sparked speculation about a forgotten chapter in human history.
Trying to see what civilization this could be. I'm leaning towards Mayan, but it looks like there's some Indian type Shiva-like statues in there. Interesting. They had to be short because look how tall that entranceway is. This is interesting. Did you know your aura and electricity powering your devices share a secret? Both are frequencies vibrating at the core of your existence, says this video. Let's take a deeper look and see what they are talking about.
The energy leaving the body, called Kirlian photography. A man named Semyon actually photographed the energy leaving the body, called Kirlian photography. A man named Semyon Kirlian back in 1934 in Russia perfected a form of photography where you can photograph mass and you can photograph the energy coming from it. This thing we're living in is a massive energy. Do you know there's about 11 million kilowatt hours per pound potential energy locked up in the electrons in the atoms of our body? We're just walking dynamos. See, there's an energy flowing to and through us, and you gotta let it flow freely to and through you, and it'll improve everything that it connects with.
Brilliant photography. Now that is interesting.
Now at the University of California at Los Angeles, a laboratory exists where researchers are attempting to capture this. Now at the University of California at Los Angeles, a laboratory exists where researchers are attempting to capture this human energy on film. The process is called Kirlian photography, named after Seymour and Valentina Kirlian, Russian scientists who pioneered it in the 1930s.
Okay, if you place your finger on the top row of the film.
The subject places her fingertips on a sheet of photographic paper, which lies on top of an electrically charged plate. The paper is exposed and developed like an ordinary black and white photograph. The results, however, are not at all ordinary. These Kirlian motion pictures revealed that an energy field, or corona, exists around each fingertip as it does around different parts of the body. This corona, rather than remaining constant, varies with changes in the subject's state of mind. In one experiment, the subject, calm at the start, is pricked with an unpleasantly sharp object. The corona of her thumb, at first brilliant and wide, becomes increasingly smaller and less distinct under stress, until, with the subject at her most anxious, it almost disappears. In a reverse experiment, a tense subject is invited to have a drink and relax, under strictly controlled conditions, of course. At the outset, the subject is anxious. His corona is thin. After 9 ounces of alcohol, it becomes broader. After 14 ounces, it displays what you might almost call a rosy glow.
You certainly look more relaxed.
Yes, well, okay.
In an experiment done with cancerous and healthy rats, the results indicate a definite difference in the corona around their tails. The implications of this research are promising. If these tests are substantiated, perhaps one day Kirlian photography will be used as a tool in medical diagnosis. Every living thing radiates an energy all its own. Yet to what do these energy fields correspond? Kirlian photographs of plant leaves and flower petals have raised some curious and as yet unanswered questions. Normally, healthy plants have distinctive, colorful coronas. On a few occasions, when part of a leaf has been cut off, a strange ghost afterimage appears. Researchers call it the phantom leaf effect, but no one knows yet what it means. What happens when 2 human energy fields come in contact? Tim and Lois are lovers. Photographed alone, his finger's aura is blue and spiky. Hers is white and softer around the edges. When they touch, their coronas mix and mingle. In contrast, observe this Kirlian photograph of people who are a little angry at each other. And this one, in which the person on the left is extremely hostile. Research has shown that the auras of the strong tend to dominate the weak, as can be seen in this Kirlian family portrait. Mother and father at the top, child at the bottom, rather overwhelmed.
Wow, how interesting is this photograph? It's almost like the child's energy is blocking off the parents. It is critical that everyone is vibrating on the same frequency so their energy could all intermingle effortlessly. I can't imagine the energy it would waste trying to repel, energy that's not mixing well. That would make you tired. If you're tired all the time, this could be your energy is repelling everything all day versus vibing with everything, if it's making sense, because it's looking like people have energy.
These tests are substantial.
I mean, we knew that, but this is like photographic pictures showing that. This is a theory, of course, but very fascinating. This one was beautiful, how they were blue and white. They were in love. It was intermingling. When they talking about having a spark, they really mean it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I feel like we're on to something.
You can actually photograph the energy leaving a body.
39.
You can actually photograph the energy leaving a body, called Kirlian photography. A man named Semyon Kirlian back in 1934 in Russia perfected a form of photography where you can photograph mass and you can photograph the energy coming from it. This thing we're living in is a massive energy. Do you know there's about 11 million kilowatt hours per pound potential energy locked up in the electrons in the atoms of our body? We're just walking dynamos. See, there's an energy flowing to and through us, and you got to let it flow freely to and through you, and it'll improve everything that it connects with. You can actually photograph the energy leaving a body. Called
Alan Watts. Why does he sound familiar? Alan Watts, What is Awakening?
In this fundamental Chinese figure of the yang, or the positive principle, and the yin, or the negative principle, like 2 fishes, constantly circulating, going round and round and round and round in the alternations of life. Now, the question is, Are these two fishes involved in a fight? Is the white one eating up the black one, and the black one trying to eat up the white one? If that is the situation, then of course life is fundamentally nothing but a grim contest. If this one up here is the good fellow and this one is the bad fellow, if this is order and this is chaos, then a fight goes on between them. And that's largely the way in which our technology has interpreted man's situation as against nature. This is man, the white, the good fellow. This is nature, the dark, the bad fellow. And the white one has got to eat him up. But what happens if the white fish succeeds in eating up the dark fish? The white fish disappears as well as the dark one, because the white one is only there in relation to the dark. So then, if these two fishes, as it were, wake up, if this one wakes up and this one wakes up, which is called awakening in Buddhism, they realize they're one. In other words, they go together. They're inseparable from each other. And this realization is that experience, which is called in Zen, Satori, or in Buddhism, Bodhi, awakening. This sudden dawning on our consciousness that life is not really a contest to make yes triumph over no, to make the positive triumph over the negative. The two sides go together. And then one sees, in this strange way, that underlying all that is negative in the world, all that is in a way painful and evil, there is a kind of necessity to it. It goes with the good. It is necessary for the good. Disorder is necessary for the manifestation of order, just as you must have, say, a black background to show up a light figure. And then when one sees that, a profound transformation takes place in one's attitude to the world. That is to say, instead of looking upon life as a contest, it becomes a dance, it becomes a game. One doesn't withdraw from it, one doesn't stop living, but one goes into the game so that these revolving fishes are no longer trying to eat each other, but they're just going around dancing, having the biggest fun in the world.
I believe the Almighty created good and evil, and he uses it according to his will.
Big Ben strikes 12, sending out frequencies of healing, growth, and spirituality. Big Ben wasn't just built to be a clock tower, and it wasn't built in the 1800s. Big Ben is an etheric collecting device. It can harness ether, it can give out free energy, and it harnesses frequencies and vibrations. The ether is harnessed through the collecting device, and then the bells let off the frequency. Why do you think you see buildings like this all around the world? They weren't just built like it for no reason. And these are all the etheric resonator buildings here. What's funny is it said that they built Big Ben because there was a fire in Westminster in 1834, and that was the only reason why Big Ben was built. Why do we always see old world architecture getting destroyed in fires? There's actually no record or images of Big Ben ever being built. So let me guess, they founded it in the 1800s. Because Big Ben was already there. These are old world etheric collecting devices, guys. Ether, free energy, frequency, vibration. I found it quite weird as well that in the war, Big Ben didn't get bombed, only Parliament did. Also, don't be confused because Big Ben is not a place to moor airships. There's a difference between an etheric collecting device.
Yeah, I was thinking it was a mooring station, but he's saying that there's a difference between them. Almost like lighthouses. Like, what are lighthouses? Were they possibly mooring stations, or were they for collecting ether? You thought I didn't have an excellent specimen for you today? Think again. Look at what we have here. That Tukite, malachite, and quartz from Nabalia. Definitely a fascinating specimen. Look at how the crystals, two different types of blues here. You have a bluish green in the middle protruding from the right side, and just this outstanding sky blue clusters in this geode. It looks like it was originally a geode and they cracked it open, and this is what they got. If I had to name this piece, I would call it Iceman's Ear. Mr. Freeze's ear.
It's a massive first edition King James Bible. It's incredibly heavy, but believe it or not, I have a book that is even older than this 400-year-old Bible, and twice as large. You're not going to believe this. Watch this. Look at this one. I can barely hold it up. It's 500 years old. It's an antiphonal. It's Gregorian chants, all handwritten. It's incredible, but it is so heavy, I have to put it down. I'm running out of breath. I've got to go. Gotta go.
Are you kidding me? Open it up. What giant was fiddling his fingers through this book? Fee, fi, fo, fum book. You know? What's the purpose of making it this large? He can barely hold it. He said it had Gregorian chants. Was these giants singing? Imagine 8 giants hitting that. It probably sounded good.
Living food is a food that is uncooked, that is non-pasteurized, that is minimally processed, that contains an enzyme complex capable of digesting itself and contributing excess enzymes to relieve stress. Remember, a living food is a food that has enzymes, that is uncooked and non-pasteurized. Green foods are foods that contain chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is green plant pigment, quite possibly the most powerful element that exists in the universe. In fact, chlorophyll is one of the most intensely researched elements in history, and has been used in the treatment of everything from periodontal disease, diabetes, and low iron, to open wounds, ulcers, and body odor. Today, foods that contain chlorophyll are gaining wide acclaim. In fact, a consensus of authority agrees that green foods contain phytonutrients in combinations that are so unique that without them the human body suffers. One thing we must realize is that disease incubates. Disease does not manifest itself over a short period of time. Disease takes months, years, and decades in which it incubates, in which it becomes more and more powerful. And it is our responsibility to interrupt the incubation cycles that lead to disease. When I was a child, I remember we had a chicken coop. And when I was very young, I went out and I saw an egg. And I told my father that I had found a rock. He told me that it wasn't a rock and I needed to leave it alone. But being curious and being a child, I went every day into the coop and I saw that it still was a rock. And every day I reported to him that in fact I was right and he was wrong. After the incubation cycle had been completed, the chicken broke out of its shell. When that chicken hatched, it was a living, breathing thing that needed to be fed, and it did not look anything like that inanimate object that I thought was a rock. That egg represents the incubation of disease. And while we may look in the mirror every day and not see a change, while we may feel and look healthy, at one point after the incubation cycle is complete, disease will manifest itself like that chicken. It will bust out of its shell and it will demand to be fed, and what it feeds on is us. Disease incubates. Even supplements are only fine-tuning. It's almost like fine-tuning your television set. Eating proper foods is like being on the right channel. And if you're on the right channel and the picture's fuzzy, then you need to fine-tune. That's what supplements are for. But you wouldn't even think about using the fine-tune buttons if you weren't on the right channel. So we have to eat right. We need to balance our diets, to eat properly, and only through doing so will we reveal any remaining symptoms. Green food contains certain phytonutrients. Phytochemical is nothing more than a plant that has an element, and that element has been identified as carrying out or instigating a beneficial function within the body. 5 elements that are contained in green foods are not typically found in other foods. In fact, these 5 elements are responsible for balancing the effect of all other food within our physiology. 5 specific elements that are contained in green food that are not found in any other food are chlorophyll, which oxygenates the body, enzymes, which rejuvenate and are responsible for virtually every chemical reaction at the cellular level. Trace minerals, the ability to alkalize, to neutralize acids, to balance the pH, and the introduction of lightweight polypeptides that enhance the immune system, increases reproductive function, and are the building blocks for lean, connective tissue, which increase the strength of our skeletal system, of our muscular system, and thus make us less susceptible to the stresses that life put on our bodies.
The key word I learned was chlorophyll. And eat more greens. I haven't been the best of eating a lot of greens. I'll be honest. I eat a salad here and there, but like, I feel like I could go harder, like really blend some stuff up, you know, get some green smoothies going. Drop in the comments below your favorite healthy options.
Here we go, and gonna have $5, $5, 10, 15, come on now, 20 now, $5, $25 now, 30, 30 in the back, now 40, 40 now, 50, $50 in the back, how about you, sir, one more time? I bid $40 down, 50 now, $5, 50, 50, sold it over here on my right, $40. Yeah, $30 now, $30 now, $30 now, $30 now, $30 on it, 25 now, $30 now, $30, $30, 25, 30, 25 now, $30, 39, $5 now, 5, 35, got you now, $40 now, $40, 35, 40, 35 here now, $40 now, $40, 35, fine, and $99, $99, $95, $30, 25, fine, 95 down, 100, 30, 25 now, $30, 39, $5 now, 5, 35, $120 down, $120 down, sold it, $115, $100. When gonna have $5, $5, 10, 15, come on now, 20 now, $5, $25 down, 30, 30 in the back, now 40, 40 now, $50, $50 in the back, how about you, sir, one more time? I bid $40 down, 50 now, $5, 50, 50, sold it over here on my right, $40, $40, here we go. Here we go, and gonna have $5.
Sold it over here on my right, $40. Let's get the community buzzing on eating better. If you made it to the end of this video, the code word is $40. Go ahead and drop $40 in the comments below. That lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way through this video, man. We had fun with this, man. Man, we gotta mix it up. You know, we be diving so deep in these dark waters, man. We gotta, you know, enjoy it, man. But $40, that's the code word, man. I love it. I'm gonna listen to it again. But that's all we have for today's video. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. This was the most disturbing videos on the internet today. See you tomorrow.
$50 down, $50 now, $50, sold it over here on my right, $40.